Mm, look at that. Hey guys, so working on my new to me 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo. I picked this up a couple weeks ago down in Ohio. It was a Southern car before that, but I've had a 1988 naturally aspirated 944 for about 2 years now, and really wanted a turbo car. So the right deal finally came up, and I went and picked up this one. It's 86. It's got the sport seats. It's got the limited slip rear end. You know, needs a couple of things. Right now, just working on getting it mechanically sound. Has the Poorchas, which are I don't know, not super huge on the style, but I appreciate them for what they are. It's just super light forged aluminum wheels. So the first order of business was timing belt. Had no history at all of when the timing belt was done, so I started ripping it apart here. And the first thing I found was the balance shaft belt was just laying in there. Luckily, just the balance shaft belt, and luckily it didn't get tangled up into the timing belt. But yeah, that was a surprise. Car seemed to run pretty smooth regardless without the balance shaft, but should run really smooth now. The previous owner put, I bought the Lindsay Racing 300 horsepower kit. So he has already installed the 4-inch exhaust and the blow-off valve. So there's left to install yet is a replacement fuel pressure regulator. There's a boost control valve, a manual boost control valve. Oh, and the chips. Yeah, there's 2 chips that need to go in the DMCs. DMCs, digital motor control. Yeah. So just kind of getting into it here. I want to get all the maintenance done. Gonna also have fuel lines, replace these now 36-year-old rubber under hood lines. Got the little jumper also I'll be replacing. Yeah, pretty excited. So I guess just a little more info while I cool down here before I get back to work. It's a nice heavy one. I got the garage door shut because it tends to stay, no air conditioning in the garage, but it tends to stay a couple of degrees cooler in the garage, especially this time of day when the sunlight is beaming right in, would be beaming right into the garage. Yeah, so anyhow, immediate plans for it are mostly maintenance items. So the timing belt, fuel pump, I got spare keys, I'm going with 1 key, oil, what did I say, fuel pump, I meant fuel filter. Got, this is the rest of the parts for the Lindsay Racing kit. The previous owner did the motor mounts, which is really nice. And then this is kind of the timing belt kit here. Comes with brand new water pump, all the belts, all the tensioners and rollers, jug of coolant, some good Continental belts, all that stuff. These are just the drive belts that I'm gonna do since I got them all apart. But yeah, so that's kind of job one here before I get it on the road. I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, that's the fuel line jumper. So that's job one, is just to make sure all the maintenance is done. You know, we're not gonna crash some valves into the pistons because the timing belt breaks or something stupid like that. From there, gonna get into the safety things. Want to do pretty much all the work that I've already done on my black car. I'm just just repeating here, like I mentioned, the underhood fuel lines. Want to replace the rubber brake lines and flush the brake system out. I don't know how old this is, but it's certainly not new. And the clutch as well. The clutch is real stiff on this car. I don't know if that's compared to my NA. I don't know if that's just because it's a turbo car, so it has a stiffer springed flex plate, or what the deal is. But it's all one hydraulic system. Well, it uses the same reservoir anyhow as the brake system. So I'm going to bleed the clutch and yeah, just get it to a point where it is mechanically sound. Once I'm convinced that the car is mechanically good, then we'll get into the cosmetics. So on my black car, I did a reupholstery kit on the front seats. They came out really well. That was from Only 944, I believe. I forget, one of those 944 specific sites. And then it's original paint on the car, at least it seems to be. No rust. Can't find any filler, any previous damage, anything like that. So, do some paint correction. It doesn't need a whole heck of a lot, really. It's all pretty good and straight, other than there's a dent in the door here in pretty much the exact same spot that my black car had it, but just way less severe. And then just take it from there. So back to the timing belt project. Yeah, the balance shaft belt was broke when I took the cover off, which, isn't ideal, but not terrible either. People do run these cars without the balance shafts, but I guess they tend to run a little violently, and can break mounts and exhaust flanges and things like that. So it will definitely be putting it back together. But it has two balance shafts, one at the top of the motor and another down here. Yeah, it's just hard to get down in there. So I'm going to have to retime all this just to make sure the balance shafts are clocked correctly. And then I also had a buddy of mine 3D print this car pokes tool. So what it does is, well, actually I'm not even 100%. I think, yeah. So I think you take this guide rail off of here, and this slips over a stud, and this here engages with the belt, and then you put your torque wrench in the back, and what it does is it just kind of measures the deflection of the belt. So the actual tool to properly tension this is about $1,000, which is crazy. So the black car and what most people do is just kind of tension it by feel. But this, I figured, gives you some kind of measurable, that lands you somewhere between doing it by feel and having the super expensive tool. So we're going to see how this works out. He printed it up for me last night, so it's not like it cost me anything, and we'll see how it works out. But yeah, there we go. So just some general impressions while I'm waiting on coolant to drain all over the floor. So it doesn't seem like this car has been messed around with too much. I think it's just kind of an unmolested original car that was probably enjoyed, and I'm sure the routine service was done. But it didn't have like that dreaded third owner who gets under the hood and does hacky repairs and I don't see there being a lot of other people's crap that I'm going to have to go back and refix or deal with. And the reason I say that is, I don't know, everything just kind of seems untouched. Like there's no mismatched hose clamps. There's no bolts that are mismatched or missing. Everything still has all the proper washers. You know, there's not stuff that's like just zip tied, wiring that's just zip tied together because the factory clips are broke or anything like that. Like, it doesn't really have any of that, which leads me to believe that, you know, really nobody's been messing around with it too much. So that's both good and bad. I prefer that. But you know, I hope the maintenance that was done was fluids and, you know, all the routine stuff to keep it running. But other than that, I don't think it's had a whole lot done. Proof of that being the balance shaft belt. But yeah, pretty excited. I'm happy with the car. It certainly needs some things. Get the routine maintenance done. Get the safety stuff done. Get it reliable. And then from there, we're going to get it out on the road and enjoy it. You know, it's going to take me a couple of weeks just chipping away at it, but that's fine. I got the black car that I can drive and enjoy. Yeah, I just don't want to make it a project like there's this guy I follow who's TDI swapping a Mark II Jetta, and you know, he's talking about how he's just going to get the engine in and get it running and do a bunch of passes and all that, and you know, and kind of continue to work on it from there. I wasn't going to waste a lot of time trying to make it pretty or anything like that. And I think that was like 3 years ago now, and it's still sitting in his driveway. And I think the engine, you know, is just kind of sitting in it. But yeah, certainly don't want to make this anything like that. Want to get it out there and drive it. So we'll see.